On April 30th, 2025, in Ciudad del Este, a car mechanic was repairing a pickup truck at a makeshift workshop. Nearby, a tractor-trailer cab had been tilted forward for maintenance. During servicing, the safety latch securing the elevated cab was mistakenly released, causing the cab to descend unexpectedly into the work area. Raised vehicle cabs must always be secured with approved secondary locking devices before anyone works nearby. In Almaty region, Kazakhstan, a video circulated showing a large rock dislodging and rolling toward a tourist. The footage captured the individual shaking a boulder, which then became unstable and began to move. The video serves as a reminder of the potential hazards in mountainous areas. When exploring natural slopes or rocky terrain, avoid manipulating loose rocks, as even small movements can trigger large, unstable boulders. In an industrial setting, a video shows a worker handling barrels containing flammable liquid. The worker was transferring liquid from a larger barrel into a smaller container when a second individual approached with an ignition source. A flame was applied to the barrel, igniting the vapors and causing a fire. The event quickly escalated due to the highly combustible nature of the liquid. It remains unclear whether the ignition was intentional or part of a workplace procedure intended to burn residual liquid, but the outcome was hazardous. Flammable liquids must never be exposed to open flames, sparks, or other ignition sources. Proper handling includes transferring liquids in well-ventilated areas, using non-sparking tools, and strictly following fire safety protocols. At an auto repair workshop, a young mechanic was performing routine maintenance on a vehicle when an out-of-control Jeep crashed through the building's exterior wall. A co-worker's call drew the mechanic a few steps forward, moving him out of the immediate path of the vehicle. The Jeep collided with the car the mechanic had been working on, pushing loose items and boxes around the workshop. The worker sustained minor injuries from one displaced box, but avoided serious harm. Workshop environments should incorporate physical barriers or reinforced walls to protect workers from unexpected vehicle intrusion. Even brief distractions or signals from co-workers can prompt critical evasive action, underscoring the importance of communication and spatial awareness in high-risk workshop operations. At a commercial building in Los Mochis, Sinaloa, Mexico, an air conditioning engineer was conducting routine maintenance on an external industrial air conditioning unit installed at an elevated position. The task required temporary access using an aluminum ladder while the worker stood on a narrow ledge adjacent to a balcony railing. During repositioning of the ladder, its metal frame came into contact with a nearby metal railing that was part of an energized electrical system. This contact created an unintended electrical path. The worker, holding the ladder at the time, became part of the circuit and was exposed to an electrical discharge. As a result of the shock, the worker lost physical control and fell from the elevated position to the street below. Electrical tasks performed at height require strict control of conductive materials and clear isolation of energy sources. Metal ladders and tools should not be used near energized equipment unless power has been fully de-energized, locked out, and verified. In Prayagraj, Uttar Pradesh, India, workers were involved in bridge construction activities over the river Ganga when a large structural girder became unstable and fell into the river below. The incident occurred during routine handling and positioning of bridge components. Workers in the vicinity noticed the girder becoming unbalanced and moved clear of the area before it descended into the water. Surveillance and on-site footage captured the event, and no injuries were reported. Heavy structural components such as girders must be rigged, supported, and lifted using equipment rated for the load. When working near elevated structures and open water, clear exclusion zones should be established, and personnel must maintain a safe distance from suspended loads. Pre-lift checks, proper communications among crew members, and adherence to engineered support systems reduce the risk of uncontrolled movement and protect workers in construction environments. In an industrial work area, a worker was attempting to cut a metal barrel using a handheld angle grinder. The barrel contained residual flammable liquids from previous use. During the cutting process, sparks from the grinder ignited the remaining vapors, causing the barrel to explode. The worker sustained injuries as a result of the sudden combustion. Cutting or grinding containers that previously held flammable liquids presents a serious fire and explosion hazard. All barrels and tanks must be fully emptied, cleaned, and ventilated before any hot work is performed. Proper personal protective equipment and fire suppression measures should always be in place, and workers should follow hot work safety protocols, including using spark containment and maintaining a safe distance from flammable residues. At a vehicle maintenance workshop in China, a worker was performing routine tire inflation on a heavy truck as part of standard servicing activities. The task involved supplying compressed air to a large commercial tire using an air hose connected to a pressurized system. During the inflation process, internal pressure within the tire increased beyond safe operating limits. As the worker attempted to pull the air hose away from the tire valve, the tire experienced a sudden structural failure. Inflating large vehicle tires presents significant stored energy hazards and must be treated as a high-risk maintenance task. Tires should always be inflated using calibrated pressure regulators, remote inflation devices, and protective safety cages designed for heavy-duty wheels. Workers should never stand directly in the trajectory zone of a tire during inflation and must monitor pressure levels continuously. In August 2020, a fatal workplace incident was recorded by city surveillance cameras in an urban area within an African country. The footage shows two municipal sanitation workers performing routine waste collection duties at the rear of a garbage truck. While the workers were loading refuse into the vehicle, a separate truck approached from behind at speed. The approaching vehicle failed to stop in time and collided with the garbage truck during active operations. One sanitation worker positioned directly behind the vehicle, the second worker was nearby, but was not physically injured. Loss of vehicle control were not publicly confirmed. This incident highlights the critical importance of traffic control and visibility protection during roadside and municipal service operations. Work zones involving stopped service vehicles should be supported by advance warning signage, traffic cones, and, where feasible, spotters or barriers to create buffer space from moving traffic. Ensuring that approaching drivers receive early visual cues can significantly reduce the risk of secondary vehicle impacts and protect workers performing essential tasks in active road environments. In an industrial facility in China, a worker was operating near a large ventilation fan used for air circulation or cooling. During the activity, the worker's position brought him too close to the rotating fan assembly. The machinery's powerful airflow and moving components created a hazardous situation. Industrial fans and similar rotating equipment present entanglement and suction hazards when operated without adequate guarding or safe clearance zones. Workers should maintain a safe distance from operating machinery and never approach moving parts. Appropriate guards, safety barriers, and lockout procedures must be in place before anyone enters proximity to such equipment.